The rain arrived first, thin and relentless, stitching the evening together with a quiet cruelty that seemed almost deliberate. Beneath that fading sky, a man stood at the edge of everything he had become, and everything he had failed to become, his body trembling from cold and something far deeper, something that reached into the marrow of memory itself. Rudeus Greyrat, though he carried that name only later, once stood there as a man who had exhausted every chance he had been given, staring into the hollow space where purpose should have lived. He remembered that moment often, even after death, even after rebirth, because it contained the final truth of his first life. If only I could go back and do it all over again. Fate, it seemed, listened. His childhood, however, began long before that rain. Rudeus remembered a boy who laughed easily, who filled classrooms with warmth and presence, a child others gathered around with effortless affection. That boy carried light within him, a natural confidence that needed no performance. Then came the fracture, a single act of cruelty that spread like poison through his mind, reshaping how he saw himself and the world. Shame rooted itself deeply, growing into isolation, then resentment, then apathy. He withdrew, clung to screens, and allowed time to consume him quietly, until life slipped through his fingers without resistance. That childhood ended not with a moment, but with a surrender. Light replaced darkness when consciousness returned, overwhelming and pure, flooding through senses that struggled to understand their own existence. Rudeus awoke within softness, within warmth, within the unfamiliar rhythm of a body that refused his command. His thoughts surged forward with clarity, yet his limbs answered with helpless motion, his voice reduced to cries that felt alien even to himself. He listened, he watched, he endured. Gradually, realization emerged, slow and suffocating in its inevitability. He had been granted something impossible. He had returned. He lived again, reborn as an infant in a world that defied the logic of his former existence. The early days unfolded through observation, each moment steeped in quiet intensity as Rudeus absorbed the rhythm of his new life. His parents, young and vibrant, moved with a warmth that unsettled him, their affection genuine in a way he had never fully understood before. Their voices carried unfamiliar sounds, their language a puzzle he began to unravel piece by piece, driven by a mind that refused stagnation this time. He studied everything, the structure of their home, the cadence of their speech, the absence of technology that once defined his existence. And then came the moment that shattered all doubt. A whispered incantation, a soft glow, a wound erased as if it had never existed. Healing. Magic existed here, not as fantasy, but as truth. Rudeus embraced that truth with a hunger that bordered on reverence. Within the fragile limits of his infant body, he began again, building himself from nothing with a precision born from regret. He watched, listened, and learned with relentless focus, driven by the memory of everything he had lost through inaction. He refused that path now. Books became his sanctuary once more, yet this time they carried purpose rather than escape. Among the few texts within the Greyrat household, one stood above the rest, a textbook of magic. Its pages revealed a structured system of power, one governed by rules, discipline, and understanding. Attack, healing, summoning. Each concept unfolded before him like a map of possibility. When Rudeus attempted his first spell, the moment carried a quiet weight that reached far beyond the act itself. He whispered the incantation carefully, following the structure laid out before him. Let the vast and blessed waters converge. Water ball! A sphere of water formed within his palm, trembling with life. He stared at it, not with wonder, but with recognition. Then he tried again, without the words. The magic answered. That discovery shifted something fundamental within him. Wordless spellcasting belonged to masters, to those who had spent years refining their craft. Yet he achieved it instinctively, as if the boundary itself held no meaning. Excitement surged through him, sharp and intoxicating, yet he forced it down with deliberate restraint. Beginner's luck, that's all it was. He anchored himself to humility, because arrogance had once destroyed him. Days turned into routine, and routine became discipline. Rudeus pushed his magic relentlessly, draining himself until exhaustion overtook him completely, then rising the next day with renewed determination. Something unusual began to reveal itself through that process. His limits expanded. Where one spell once marked his threshold, now 2 followed, then 5, then 10. The textbook insisted magical capacity remained fixed from birth, an unchanging constant within each individual. Yet his experience contradicted that certainty with quiet defiance. Growth existed, and it answered effort. In those early years, Rudeus built himself carefully, piece by piece, reconstructing a life with intention rather than avoidance. His body strengthened slowly, his speech formed gradually, and his understanding deepened with each passing day. By the age of 3, he walked, he spoke, he acted, and he chose his path. His parents saw brilliance where he saw necessity. When a careless moment revealed his abilities, a burst of magic that shattered part of their home, their reaction carried pride rather than fear. Zenith's joy filled the room, her voice bright with certainty. "Oh, I just knew our boy was a genius." Paul responded differently, his expectations shaped by a warrior's world. Yet even he recognized something extraordinary unfolding before him. A tutor arrived soon after. Roxy entered his life with quiet skepticism, her sharp gaze assessing the child before her with practiced detachment. She expected potential, perhaps talent, perhaps exaggeration. What she found reshaped her understanding entirely. When Rudeus cast spells without incantation, her perception shifted from doubt to fascination. Under her guidance, his education expanded beyond raw ability into true understanding. Magic transformed from a tool into a system, from instinct into knowledge. She taught him history, theory, and the broader world that stretched far beyond their quiet village. Rudeus absorbed it all. Afternoons belonged to his father. Paul trained him with the discipline of a swordsman, his methods direct and uncompromising. Wooden blades clashed beneath open skies as Rudeus learned stance, balance, and movement, each lesson grounding him further in this new life. Swordsmanship carried its own philosophy, one that contrasted sharply with the fluid creativity of magic. It demanded presence, awareness, and precision. Rudeus embraced it, though his heart remained drawn toward the limitless potential of magic. By the age of 5, his world expanded further. His birthday arrived as more than celebration. It marked transition. His father placed a sword in his hands, his voice carrying the weight of experience. A man must always carry a sword within his heart to protect what's important to you. His mother offered a book, handwritten and rare, a gift that reflected both sacrifice and love. Roxy gave him a wand, a symbol of his place as her student. Each gift carried meaning. Each gift shaped his path. Yet growth demanded more than skill. It demanded confrontation. Fear lingered within him, subtle yet persistent, rooted in memories he carried from a life he refused to repeat. The outside world represented uncertainty, and uncertainty stirred echoes of the past. When Roxy forced him beyond that boundary, guiding him into the open fields beyond their home, he faced that fear directly. What he found there changed him. Under a vast sky, beneath gathering clouds, Roxy demonstrated a spell of overwhelming scale, cumulonimbus. Thunder roared, rain crashed, and the earth trembled beneath its power. Then she turned to him. Rudeus responded with something entirely his own. Rather than sustaining the storm through force, he recreated its natural formation, manipulating wind and temperature with careful precision. Roxy watched in silence, her expression shifting as realization took hold. "Rudy, you pass." In that moment, he became something rare, a water saint. Yet the true victory lay elsewhere. He stepped beyond fear. Rudeus continued forward, his childhood shaped by moments that tested more than his abilities. When he encountered Sylphiette, a child burdened by prejudice and isolation, he saw a reflection of his former self. This time he acted, "I'm an ally to the weak." The words carried weight because he chose them, because he lived them. Through that choice, he formed his first true bond. Friendship brought complexity. It demanded understanding, patience, and growth. When his actions caused harm, through ignorance rather than malice, he faced the consequences directly. Shame followed, heavy and undeniable. Yet he responded differently than before. He apologized, he reflected, he changed. This time, he learned. The Greyrat household grew, expanding with new life and new tension. Conflict emerged, shaped by human weakness and imperfect choices. Rudeus watched it unfold, understanding more than any child should, yet choosing to protect what he had come to value most: family. When that family fractured, he intervened, guiding events with careful manipulation that preserved unity. Even then, he understood the cost of such actions. Growth carried complexity, It required responsibility. Years passed, and Rudeus stood no longer as a passive observer of life, but as an active participant within it. He trained, studied, and built relationships with a quiet determination that defined his second chance. His childhood, once lost to isolation, now unfolded with meaning. Every lesson mattered. Every failure shaped him.